You had a little time to go back, obviously, and watch the film and digest. What did you see on those breakdowns, especially in the passing defense?
Great execution by them.
Yeah.
You know, we had 3 mental errors, and taking nothing away from those guys. You got to give AJ and the group a lot of credit. They punished our mistakes. We had a mental error in one of our base coverages in the middle of the field on the long touchdown with Jonathan. And then we had another mental breakdown in the red zone on the one that they threw to the tight end. And in a championship game like that, you know, is what we said. If you make mistakes, you get punished for the mistakes. And there was too much to recover from the end.
Was there kind of miscommunication? I think Dan said on the 57-yarder, John was expecting safety help and it didn't come.
He was. We were trying to, obviously, what we call rock and roll our coverages off of what they were doing backfield sets-wise. Corey just didn't happen. But I didn't coach it well enough, and they didn't get it executed well enough. And AJ threw a really good pass across the field for John. So, you know, you got to take John out of the equation, something we rarely do, but we did Saturday night. So, and it cost us.
It seemed like it took a little while to get into a groove. I know at a certain point, I think starting after their touchdown in the second quarter, when a little over 30 minutes of gameplay, just a field goal out, it was just kind of a matter of mentally getting settled in or fixing things?
I think a combination of both. Obviously, the adjustments that we made at halftime were key. Kids settling down and you know, and realizing that at the end of the day, it's just football. And once they did that, we were able to generate some 3 and outs, change field position, and they had some opportunities early. You know, Darius had a chance to get an interception in the same coverage that we gave one up on, and typically that's a play that we make and we didn't make. And in ball games like this, you've got to make plays.
You got a pretty big change of offense you're going against this week with A&M.
Absolutely. I mean, what A&M's doing is very similar to what Coach Sumlin's done at Houston, but it's more tailored for their quarterback, Menzel, and he's a guy who you know, can beat you with his arm, but also he can beat you with his feet. You know, he's a guy who really creates and keeps a lot of plays alive in the passing game as well as the run game. I believe he might be the leading rusher in the SEC.
Yeah.
So
Took over Perkins.
Yeah, that says a lot.
LSU. LSU and Florida actually kind of hemmed Johnny in a little bit. I don't know if you've watched that film and what you can take away from that.
I'm sure. Yeah, I've watched it more than once. One of the biggest things that they've done is, you know, it's the matchups, who they have out on the football field. You got to have guys on the field who can get him on the ground. You know, so you know, I don't know if this is a game for 330 pounders at times, but you know, you've got to be able to stop the run game because they do a tremendous job in the run game. But he is a big part of that. And what he does is, you know, when people try to play him close, their receivers close, he's able to scramble and keep plays alive. So it's about having the right people on the field, and that's what when you watch that tape, you saw LSU and Florida, a lot of speed on the field for them, and they were able to match speed with speed. And at the end of the day, you got to be really good in the red zone because they're going to move the ball, they're going to get yards. Where you've got to be different is how you treat them in the red zone.
I know you guys haven't obviously practiced yet, but you get a feel for where the team is mentally. Obviously, first loss of the season and kind of a rough one on the road.
Well, absolutely. I mean, you come in today and obviously as a staff and as a program, we're disappointed, and that's a good thing. It's good, you know. I believe somebody gave us a stat. We hadn't lost a game in 342 days. You know, 9 straight games. You know, you've had a chance to win and not feel that issue. So, you know, it makes you really go back and evaluate everything that you're doing from a coaching standpoint, a teaching standpoint, a player standpoint. And we just got to be critical and fix the things that we know we can fix. And so, you know, I believe our guys, knowing our guys' kind of character they have, they'll be ready to come in and work today.
Anybody you may have answered this, but anybody you compare Menzel to watching him?
No.
Anybody?
Not in our league. Not a guy who has the run pass ability. You know, guys want to say Cam. You know, Cam's 6'6". You know, he's Cam Newton. He's freakish, but you know, Menzel's his own guy. Really talented guy, like I said, both in the run game and the pass game. Keeps plays alive, and the biggest thing he's a competitor. He's fun. You know, he's out there competing the whole game. So, you know, he's created his own identity.
I know you and Kevin have known each other for a while. I'm sure he won't give you any corners this week.
And vice versa. No, yeah, but no, absolutely. You know, Kevin will come in here ready to to compete, in the West like we both are. This game is really critical to both our successes throughout these next 4 or 5 games. So I expect it to really be a knockdown, drag out Saturday.
Yeah.
Does that relationship or does that communication stop now that he's in the league, or do you guys talk in the offseason?
We still talk. It's just more about family and fishing. No, I'm kidding about that part, but no, it's just really more us and our relationship. Kevin and I have known each other for a long time, and our friendship's our friendship. This is business, and we both understand that our families are close, our children are close. So we just get prepared to go do what we do, and that's to do our job.
I was very pleased with that, and that's some of the things that we strived on all week. Hey, you got this much time to get rid of it. You got to get rid of it, and he did. He did a nice job.
Y'all give them a clock. I know,
Oh, yeah.
some teams will have. Okay, you got 2.5, 3.5 seconds.
I'll bring
whatever
the
it is.
stopwatch out to him with practice, and I'll make sure those things are out, and I'll let him know. So he understands I'm slow, I'm early, I'm slow, I'm early. Get the feel of the route.
Chris Smith had 2 long catches, and really this season seems to be turning into more of a downfield threat. Is that something that's just he's gotten better at doing, or is it just
Well, I mean, it's
something else?
happened. There were some opportunities for him there, and I was very pleased with his performance. I mean, went up and made some catches, and he was competing, and he wanted to show him what he could do, and I thought he did a nice job.
I know there's a lot of talk in the preseason about being more vertical offensively. Maybe it hasn't panned out, but Joe Morrow, kind of curious about how his development has come along.
Well, Joe's been beat up a little bit. He's getting back from some injuries and stuff, but he's coming along. He's learning. He's having a great, he has a good room to learn from, those older guys. And I think that's critical as a young receiver. And again, anytime you've got competition in a position, it makes it harder.
You had some success with some long drives against Alabama. Obviously the top-ranked defense in the country. What was working well on those drives that maybe wasn't on some of those other ones?
Well, I think, execution was a big part of it. We mixed it up just like we did in the other drives and everything else, but the execution part was there, and I think that was really critical. Execution on 3rd down, execution on the 1st and 2nd down to not be any 3rd and longs. Early in the game, we had 3rd and 23 with the penalties and stuff like that. Those are hard to get first downs, and I think we stayed out of those situations, and that was good for our team.
Everybody talks about Texas A&M's offense, obviously, but what about their defense? I mean, I don't know how much you've dissected it quite yet.
94 is a good player. He really is. He's leading, I think, the SEC in sacks. I mean, he's very active. Defensively, they're very active. When you talk about their defense, and then people always want to bring up their offense. Well, their offense is a fast pace, go really fast, and you miss a turn, and all of a sudden your defense is out on the field a pretty long time. And they play mainly a spread type of defense. They take risky things on defense to get the ball back for their offense.
I was about to say, when you're playing a kind of a high-risk defensive game, lots of blitzes and stuff like that, how do you try to counteract that? What do you have to do well to win
again,
those
we
games?
have to execute. I think that's where the concentration part of our kids, and we've been good against the blitz, so it's been beneficial for us. But we've got to concentrate on our assignments. People are moving around, so we just definitely have to concentrate what our assignments are and what are our keys, what are our identification keys for blitz and stuff like that.
How do you think your tackles played? I know they got beat up a little bit and had to leave a couple of times, but
We had a couple of them in there.
Damien got some good playing time.
Damien got some playing time. I mean, it was a great, great deal for us. Having to, listen to the snap count and do those different things in a venue like that, it's really tough for an offensive tackle.
Yeah.
Because, we're mainly going on silent count. So, they were working really close with Dylan Day in the center. So those things were new for those young kids. Our older kids had been through it, but it was something that'll pay off for us in the long run. I mean, we've got LSU away too. Those venues are going to be pretty loud.
Kevin Sumlin's known more as an offensive style coach, but how many similarities are there from his defenses at Houston as that he took to Texas A&M?
Well, again, he's head coach at Texas A&M. I'm sure he's involved in both rooms. So, we've had some games against University of Houston here. And, they both ways. They came down here and beat us. We went up there and beat them. So, they had a really, really good quarterback when they came down here. And, it'll be interesting to see what happens.
How good do you think he can be when he gets out here by the time he's senior? He's so young.
As good as he wants to be, as long as he develops and not get into, being a run as he knows as much as he needs to know. You know, he knows how to ID things. He knows how to block things. And a lot of guys, as they play, especially when they're younger, start saying, well, I can manipulate it by knowledge more than physical and becoming fundamentally better. I think to me, I mean, he's got 2 more years, as does Blaine, as does Damian, as all those guys of Joseph Williams got 3 years. They develop each year something. To me, he's for his career, if he wants to play after this, is now start knowing more things about coverage, start understanding more about offensive philosophy, and and fundamentally still get better. Still a lot of room for growth that way.
Dan talks about it factor in quarterbacks and other positions. Do you look for an indefinable it with linemen when you're recruiting them?
Centers?
Not just centers, but even linemen.
Yeah, I mean, there's characteristic criteria look for in every one of them in terms of tackles. You usually want a longer arm, longer levered guy. Guards, to me, they got to be able to knock back the large men that play inside there on defense. A center's got to kind of have it all. He's got to have the brains. He's got to have the confidence. He's got to have he's got to have that swagger to him that, because he's got to set everything down. He's got to have some football knowledge. I don't care that he's 32 ACT or not. It's more of, does he understand the game? That's the biggest thing, that you understand football. And obviously smart yards sometimes better, but to me it's understanding the game, and then you got to have the feet, man. We all got the feet, but I think that's the biggest thing that the center has, is the capacity, the capability to be confident in what they're doing.